So, welcome back to the Bully Girl podcast. It's the one and only Dr. Taylor here, bringing some of the hottest discussion topics in the bully community straight to your ears. This is episode 3 of the BGM podcast and is sponsored by Snubbies. I have a special guest with me today by the name of Jordan Mahaley, also known as YC, founder of New Heights Frenchies and Exotic Bullz with a Z. YC, talk to me. What's going on? Welcome to the BGM podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate for having me on the not much. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I read up on your previous interview with us, and man, it seems like your kennel has a lot to actually offer. North Carolina definitely has some heat for sure. I go to a lot of shows and I meet all these different people from North Carolina, and I'm just like, dang, y'all really breeding out this way. I'm here in South Carolina, so I get to kind of mingle with a lot of people from Georgia and North Carolina. So I'm glad that you're
Okay.
close by. I'd love to see you at a show one day for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So your kennel is known for the unique and remarkable different bully breeds that you actually have. I would love for you to take the opportunity in providing our viewers with an introduction and details about your kennel and how it actually all began.
All right. Well, introduction. I started about 3 years ago. I got my first pocket bully. I just was in search for it. You know what I'm saying? Just a pet at first, and then I got my first pocket bully, and then I seen people going to shows. I had friends that was doing the dogs and going to shows and stuff like that. So they finally talked me into taking him out to a ICBR show actually in Lumberton, North Carolina. And that was the first show I went to, and he actually placed first in that show. Yeah, for I think it was 9 to 12 months of age for pocket bullies or puppies. And after that, man, that's what really kind of initially, you know what I'm saying, got me going with the dog game. Because after I went to that first show, I started looking for, you know what I'm saying, my next uh edition. And then after I got my next edition, that's when I really put a name on everything and stamped everything with New Heights, Frenchies, and Exotic Bulls. I got the second dog was actually exotic. It was a two-time Bullsachi granddaughter. I got her from I think it was off the Muscle Bullies at Caswell. It was actually out here in North Carolina as well. And after I got her, she wasn't really the show quality of dog after she got older. Um, that's when I kind of learned a little bit too that, you know what I'm saying, you got to wait till the exotics are a little bit older before you just jump out there and buy one because you never know what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
But I got her and she, you know what I'm saying, she's a good tool though, you know what I'm saying, I can still use her a lot and to incorporate my program to give me some good production. Um, then after that, I got my first French bulldog. I was actually at a show in Las Vegas. I think it was about 2 years ago, and she was actually a standard French bulldog. Um, I got her, brought her back. I did a couple breedings with her, and the first two didn't take. Well, the third one, before I bred her, I had actually went to Illinois and purchased a fluffy Frenchie from Organic Paws, and when I got back, I was going to use another stud out of California again, but when I was going to use him, his semen got held up in Tennessee, so that's when I resulted to in-house. So I used him, and she only gave me one puppy, so it was kind of a letdown. And then I used that letdown to fire me. You know what I'm saying? That's when I jumped out there. I bought another, another exotic. It was a Starbucks daughter. She was actually from South Carolina, from Breadmaster Bulls, and I've had her for a while. I ain't bred her yet because she ain't even came to her first heat. Um, in the midst of that, you know what I'm saying, I was breeding some pockets and some standard bullies. And then around Christmas time, I got my second fluffy. It was a female. I got her from Onyx, the Frenchie plug out of Los Angeles. Um, she's a black foam merle, and she's got great structure. She's compact. She's a great addition to the to my camp. You know what I'm saying, for what I'm trying to do, because I'll have some standard fluffies and more exotic fluffies. So I'll have the variety of the fluffies as
Mhm.
well. And then I bred my exotic again, and when I bred her again, she didn't take. So that's when I jumped out there and went and bought the big rope from Gary Arrow CC Bullies out of Las Vegas. She's a fluffy carrier. So when I breed her at the end of the year, I'm breeding her to a visual big rope fluffy. So that will produce fluffy big ropes, and which will be the first ones in North Carolina.
Oh
So I'm
wow. Yeah.
pretty excited about that.
That's what's up, man. Like I go to a lot of shows here on the East Coast. And I don't really see that many fluffy and big rope combinations at all. I went to a show a few weeks ago and there was a bunch well, I wouldn't say a bunch. It was a handful of big ropes and then there was a handful of Frenchies as well. And I don't think any of them were the two actually combined and put together. So that's great. Like being one of the only ones in North Carolina to actually have a fluffy and to actually have a big rope is great. And
Hmm.
then you more than likely being the first person to produce one in North Carolina is pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, it's
So yeah,
exciting.
yeah, I'm telling you, man, North Carolina really does have like some nice programs, some really nice kennels and stuff. I have a lot
Yeah,
of people that
and
I've at shows, and they're all based out of North Carolina.
yeah, there's a couple people that I know too that were that I was unaware of at first until I started going to shows, and it was I've been going to shows for a while before I actually met the people from North Carolina, and I mean they got some fire like Fluffy Frenchies. There's somebody that's got a big rope out here. He's fire, and it's a lot of fire dogs out here, but they're hidden. You know what I'm saying? People ain't
Yeah,
putting them out there for people to see. And that's what I
yeah.
believe in, man. I believe if you got a show quality dog, that's what you should be doing, or at least posting. You know what I'm saying? Getting promotion, getting the dog out there.
Yeah, seriously, I agree with you 100%. Like that's another reason that I really love Bully Girl magazine is because you can come and do an interview, you can, post about your dog, post about your kennels, get hyped up on the podcast now. Like there's so many different things that we can help with as far as like promotion and stuff. And then also I always like try to motivate people to get out there and go to the showroom because I love shows. I don't even
Hmm.
show dogs anymore. I mainly go for photography for our magazine that we have. But it's just amazing to see all these different kennels out there and then the collaboration that I see is crazy. Like I see somebody that knew each other off of Facebook and just knew each other's dogs from pictures and stuff on social media. And they see each other at
Hmm.
a show and they're instantly like, oh man, that's such and such dog. I see you post all the time. And then they exchange numbers and stuff and then build that rapport and collaboration with one another. And so, yeah, there are definitely a lot of hidden dogs out there. It's just people just need to know, how to get them out there and to promote them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you have such a huge variety in the dogs that you have in your kennel, from pocket bullies, nano bullies, standard Frenchies, fluffy Frenchies, big rope Frenchies to English bulldogs. Tell us about each of your varieties, like your visions. What are your goals and productions for each variety?
Um. Well, for my goals for each breed I have, it's different and it varies. From like my standards, I don't really do nothing crazy breedings with them because I try to just keep it minimal because my I'm more focused on bigger breedings with like the exotics and the Frenchies and stuff I have, but I continue to do them because the passion that I have for the dogs.
Right.
The pocket bullies, I don't really do in-house breedings for puppies anymore. Because I just have a male right now. I just stud him out for, what I'm saying, a decent low price so people in the community can use him and try to get him out there more to just local people. He's got a decent bloodline. He's a direct rich Chickasaw. He's a chocolate tri. He's, what I'm saying, he's small. He's got a short back, big head. He's great for a pocket. He's about 14 inches tall. The exotics, they're getting in there like with, my vision. I'm getting more involved with the exotics because my focus was more on the Frenchies at first, but now that I'm going to more shows and stuff, I'm seeing that there also is a big avenue for the exotics and stuff if you got the right blood and the right, like what people want in the show area and stuff like that. Because it's different selling to the general public with exotics and stuff like that I've learned dealing with it for the past few years. Um,
Hmm.
but my goal for them Mainly, I got two different bloodlines I'm working with right now. I got a two-time Busachi granddaughter that I'm working with, and I'm trying to get. She's a brindle, a red brindle, and I'm not really trying to get away from the brindle because I like brindle because
Mm-hmm.
I believe that a lot of structure comes from it. So my co-owner, I can actually co-own her with somebody, and the dog I bred her with, I bred her to twice, and it didn't take. So I was going to use that last stud credit with the other female I had to try it one time. So when I did that, my co-owner locked in a stud named Sauce King, I think out of South Carolina or Virginia, owned by I think Paul Brown. It's a I think he's a black merle. So that's going to bring them down a little bit. She's 12 inches now, but that's still going to shrink them down to where what I'm trying to get and bring more merle into my program and to, you know what I'm saying, better bring the merle because there's a lot of merle dogs in North Carolina, but there's not really no merle exotics. It's more like XLs and standards and pockets.
Yeah.
The uh the other female I got that I bought from South Carolina from Reggie Fraser at Breadmaster Bullz. It's Starbucks daughter. I have a lot uh that I'm excited about her because she stays small, like she's super tiny, back short. She's about 10 inches tall and she's still maturing. She ain't but about 7 months old. So I've been talking to interstate bullies. I'm probably gonna take her to either bait or Sabu coming up in the next month or so when she goes in heat. And I'm excited about that because that'll be a major bring to bring some of that blood, direct blood anyway, out here in North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. It sounds like you have everything like set up so far and like following your vision and everything. So with all the different varieties that you do have in your yard, you must constantly have to like stay on your toes and stuff like that, ensuring that your vision is created and held with each of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in your interview with BGM, you mentioned two specific kennels that you looked up to, Playboy French Bulldogs and the Frenchie Pro Shop. What significant impact did the two kennels make when it came to your overall knowledge and visions with Frenchies?
Uh Playboy First Bulldogs came in because I do a lot of social media with the dog. So when I first got to a pocket and exotic, I just had the regular Frenchie. And I was always on TikTok, but I seen his first his stud vaccine, and that was the first fluffy Frenchie that I had ever seen. And after I seen that fluffy Frenchie, I was, I was wild. I was like, yeah, I got to get me one of them. And every day, you know what I'm saying, just seeing posts of his fluffy Frenchies and how he operates his program, the way, you know what I'm saying, his dogs are, the structure, the quality
Mm-hmm.
that he produces, you know what I'm saying, the way he runs his kennels, it's just all like he legitly, you know what I'm saying? It's not nothing. I've met him at shows before. He's a great person, and that was the main reason I got into fluffies because I seen him with the fluffies online, and once I got my first fluffy, yeah, it was pretty good because I was taking him to shows and stuff like that for a while, but the Frenchie Pro Shop, what got me with them, I've been watching them. I actually had locked in a stud from them for one of my females because I had been watching them, you know what I'm saying, online and stuff like that, how they run their kennels and the dogs that they're producing and stuff. But what made them stand out to me the most was they give back to the community. They're not, you know what I'm saying, just doing it for them and everything else. They're, you know what I'm saying? They're putting the shows on. They're producing dogs, top quality dogs. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing their community together. They're giving back. And that's something where I'm trying to eventually get to, that I can give back to the community, maybe do fundraisers for the kids, you know what I'm saying? Give back to school supplies, you know what I'm saying? Anything. Just that's my goal, you know what I'm saying? It ain't all just about me in the end. I'm trying to better product my community and anything to, you know what I'm saying, further myself and my community as a whole.
Yeah, I love that. I've been to a show before. It was kind of like giving back to the children and a back to school event that was in North
Hmm.
Carolina years ago, and it was really cool. I loved being there. And then they promoted it on all the social media platforms for people that actually comes to the show. for their children to come and pick up school supplies, like book bags full of school supplies and stuff like that. And then what was left over, they donated it to the Salvation Army. And so I just thought it was a fantastic thing to do, and I'm glad that you also have that vision as well. I hope there's many other kennels and stuff out there that are wanting to get there at some point, as far as giving back and hosting these shows and educating people in general.
Mm-hmm. And that is where, and it all started too. Me and my buddy, we did a meet and greet probably about a couple months ago, and that was the first. Well, no, he threw one, but it was a few years ago. And then me and him put this one together, and I mean, it was a good turnout. There was about a couple hundred people there, and it was just a 4 day put together. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing major. We did free food. We cooked hot dogs and stuff and gave food away. It was a nice event though, just for Burlington in itself, because just to see what the community has just within Burlington and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
pretty
it's
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I hope that you were able to mingle and meet a lot of people in the bully community and stuff like that at this meet and greet too. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, so what do you think sets you apart from all the other breeders that you've met through like social media platforms or being in person at these shows?
Mm, what sets me apart from the rest is, I think a lot of people, it ain't necessarily, that was a hard one to be real.
Mhm. It's all right. Take your time.
um, what really sets me apart from the rest, I guess, is the different varieties of dogs that I have to offer. And not only that, it's quality production. And that being said, that and when these quality look here, dog comes now. But when stop, come on.
And who
But
is this?
this is Frenchie. This is the one I'm waiting to confirm on now.
Oh, hello. Oh, she is so cute.
Yeah, she's a blue covered in cream. So let's see what we get out of that one.
Oh, well, thank you
But
for
what's
your
that?
visit.
But yeah, that's what really sets me apart from the rest, I guess, is because people in my area tend to generally focus on one breed, or you know what I'm saying, one certain thing, and I try to cover all the lanes and try to appease to more than just certain people. And then not only that, I try to breed quality dogs for people that's trying to spend a lot of money. And then I try to breed like have low end litters too that I can sell for a lower amount of money to appeal to, you know what I'm saying, people that really ain't trying to spend that much, or that don't really know the quality or the background of the bully breed,
Mhm,
because they are designer dogs. So that's when what people don't understand. People get to put their own price on their own dogs, and the bloodlines and stuff like that, of ranging from different prices. So that's why I be trying to give free game too. That's the main thing. People be trying to charge, or oh, you gotta pay, you know what I'm saying, to know this and stuff like. I don't.
mhm.
If I learn it and I click with you, I'm gonna tell you if I, because it took me a while to learn, and I got a homeboy that's down the street now that he wants to get to the Frenchies, but he's like, man, he's like, I'm learning from you. He's like, you still learning? So he's like, I gotta wait. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, man, I was like, even 15 years down the road, I'm gonna still be learning. So
Yep. Everything changes on a daily basis, man. It's like there's not enough education out there. So every day we're learning something new.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
and especially new ones coming out like the hairless Frenchie, the velvet fluffy Frenchie. I mean, it's crazy.
yeah.
Just
I
the
uh I,
difference.
I was at a show like 2 weeks ago that I was talking about earlier. And I saw my first hairless Frenchie in person. So there was only one there, but I was able to see it. Oh, welcome
Yeah.
back.
Was that in Miami?
No, there's a Miami one this weekend, but this one was in Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay, because like 2 weeks ago, I was in at the King of the Rings, and there was a hairless there too.
Oh
It
yeah,
was, yeah, it
it
was a
might have been the
small
same
one.
exact one.
Was it? It was. I don't know. This one was. I think it was blue, blue and tan. if I'm
I'm
correct.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I mean, and there's possibility it could be the same one. I'm not even sure where, like, which kennel the dog came from, if it was in a kennel at all. I just saw him in the fun show, and it was a cute little small, like, compact thing. But so with my experience as a Frenchie mom, oh, we have another visitor. All
This
right, well, who
Coco
is
right here.
this?
This Coco. This one
This
the
is Coco.
standard.
Okay, hi.
Hush.
They just have to come see you right now.
Yeah.
So
Some,
I used to own Frenchies. In my experience as a Frenchie mom, my little guy was so bougie. Like, compared to the rest of my dogs, he was like the smallest thing that I owned, out of all the dogs in my yard. And he would walk around like he was the warden every single time
yeah.
they go outside or run around in the house together and stuff. Mind you, he was like 20 pounds. And then if he was even 20 pounds, he was so tiny. But then he's up against my pocket bullies that are like 65, 75 pounds, and he's just bossing them around like crazy. So do you see
Mhm.
like a huge difference when it comes to the temperament amongst all the different varieties that you have?
Yeah. And with that being said, I have to keep a lot of them in groups.
Mhm.
I have the way my kennels is set up. I have a big room that's epoxy floor and everything with all my kennels and everything in it. I'll let a group of them out downstairs. I got a fenced-in backyard, so I'll put a group of them outside, and then I'll have a group of them in the living room running around, and I'll rotate them out so I can keep some in the cages, have some run around, and then I'll let some of them outside while I'm constantly rotating all day.
Yeah. Uh, so how do you manage to like socialize your dogs?
I manage to socialize them. I walk them. I have a lot of people that come over. I have kids in the house that I also have around the kids as well, around the dogs as well. And then I take all of them to dog shows except for the standards. So that's how I socialize most of mine. Is you know what I'm saying, just keeping them around people, letting them have other dog interaction.
Hmm. Yeah. That's really good though, especially the kids part. Dogs act they're a little bit different with your own children and stuff that's in the household, but then when you get to dog shows, they see another kid, you don't know how they're going to act. So I'm glad that you
Hmm.
do take them to shows also to socialize them a little bit more with all the different sounds and smells and noises, everything put
Yeah.
together is just a little bit overwhelming sometimes. So, I think that's fantastic that you pretty much have all of them there at some point. Um,
Hmm.
that's good. So French bulldogs are in high demand right now.
Yeah.
What made you get into breeding the fluffy and big rope Frenchies? Was it just just noticing that they are the next upcoming thing, or
Now, what
what?
really got me into the fluffies was Playboy French Bulldogs
Mhm.
because I just kept seeing them online, and you know when you keep seeing something, because at first I thought they were ugly, I was like, nah, I never have one of them, but then just after keep seeing it, I was like, yeah, I gotta get one because everybody wants one, so that's why I really got it. So then after I got him, I used him as a stud, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get a female too. So then that's when I went out and searched for a female and actually found a female out of California.
Okay. All right. What about the other one, the big ropes that you have?
The big ropes, I don't know what really made me jump into that. Because I was trying to find another fluffy or something different, but when I went to Las Vegas and I went to that show, I was seeing big ropes. I'm like, man, I was like, I might get one of them. So I made a little post and it was like, anybody in Las Vegas got any big ropes for sale? So then Gary messaged commented on it. So within a couple hours, I was meeting him. And he brought two. He brought a cream colored one and then the blue one, and I got the blue one. So I was like, cause I don't think the other one carried Fluffy, so I think I went with the blue one because she carried Fluffy.
Okay. And that's blue sache?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So let's go into like nutrition and diets and stuff. Between all of the different varieties that you do have on your yard, you have to like accommodate any special diet requests from any of them when it comes to like the
Um.
nutrition regimen?
No, not really. I did have them on different foods.
Mhm.
but I felt like that food wasn't really working for the dogs that I had it on. So what I was trying to do, I was trying to save a little bit as well. So I started doing a lot of research on a food that would be, you know what I'm saying, an even balance for the bullies and the Frenchies. And that's kind of a hard thing when you start, you know what I'm saying, looking to find something that's going to accommodate both of them. But that's when actually I switched to Diamond for small breeds, the blue bag. And ever since I've had them on that, they've all been, you know what I'm saying, pretty good. And not only with that, I've always used liquid gold and then the liquid gold powder. And
Okay.
those both offer different, you know what I'm saying, things because the liquid is more of a vitamins, minerals, coat conditioner, and stuff like that. And then the powder is more protein and stuff like that. So I'll mix those into the food as well before I give it to them.
That's
But
good.
then after I switch to that, I have them all on that now.
Good. So they all pretty much, they just, it has no like negative effect on them and stuff.
Mm.
That's good. It sometimes it takes a quite some time to figure out like which type of food to actually put every single one of them on, because what works for one may not work for the rest of them, and then vice versa. And then if you go
Yeah.
onto social media and be like, "Hey man, I need like recommendations on like the best food and stuff like that," it's still the same thing. It might work for this yard versus what you have going on as well. So I'm glad you
Hmm.
were able to find like a specific regimen and stuff for your dogs that work for everyone, because I know that that
And
can
see,
be a headache.
it took me a few years to get to a set, you know what I'm saying, food like that. Okay, I know this is going to do pretty good with the dogs I have on my yard right now. Because when I first started, I was using Victor, and everybody was telling me bad things about Victor. Don't use Victor; it's causing females not to take. And I mean, everybody was telling me that. But then I see people using it too, and in certain dog food stores, like they have their own kennels. They're like, oh well, we that's what we use, Victor. We've never had a problem with it. So it's hard to know because there's always a positive and a negative to all of
Yeah, there really is though.
them.
Um, okay, so as a breeder that also attends shows, what are some of your challenges that you come across?
uh, I say the challenges I come across is for showing. Um, it's you know what I'm saying, like it's a lot to it. Um, because sometimes I feel like there might be politics involved, but I try to stay away, you know what I'm saying, ignore all that stuff because it don't really bother me because I tend to go just to get my dog out there, get my dog's face out there and stuff like that. So, with that being said, I see a lot of hearsay, she say in the show world, but I try to stay away from it, man. I just try to mind my own business, stay in my own lane, and focus on my own dogs. And to be real, I've seen better come out of me minding my own business than being up in everybody else's as everybody is. So that's what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Just it's just trying to stay away from all the negativity because
Yeah.
once you get a bad name, it's over for you.
Yeah, it is pretty cool to just kind of like stick to yourself and stuff like that. But also though, like, just having those conversations out there, introducing your kennel and your dogs and stuff like that. And then everyone's gonna start seeing like, oh, damn, this dude he's like super chill and positive about everything. He's not all up in this drama and whatever else you may see going on in the community. So I think that that's like a
Right.
super thing that you do, like the mindset that you currently have. Um, but like I mentioned earlier, I definitely want to see you at a show. Any upcoming shows that you're going to be at, just inbox us on Instagram and let us know, because you might see me out there doing photos and stuff. And if we do meet up at a show, I definitely want to meet Boogeyman because he is super
Yeah.
cute. I absolutely love him. Um,
Hey, he's the hardest stud EB on the East Coast.
he is
He's
such
something
a
else.
handsome boy. I saw him on your Instagram and I just fell in love. I was like, oh yeah, I got to meet this dog one day. He is super cute.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
we just last week we was actually in Michigan for I forget the name of it. the Michigan show Gary Watson had. I forget the name of the show, but it was a decent show. Boogeyman actually won first place at 9 to 12 month puppy.
Wow. That's
So
great,
you gotta think he's still young too. He's only like 10 months old and already working. He's got litters on the ground, waiting on something to drop.
Well,
So,
he is definitely impressive. I hope all of our viewers that watch this episode, they have a chance to check you out in your kennel and everything. But I wanted to ask you though, is there anything that you want to see going forward in the Bully Girl magazine or on the BGM podcast?
like, what do you mean going forward? Like with the
Like,
bully breed?
yeah, anything. Like, do you want to see like more different content, or certain topics and stuff like that discussed?
No, because the topics that y'all are touching bases with are like the main topics that I feel or need to be brought up in the bully community. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things that you know what I'm saying is going on that y'all do address, and the things that y'all do touch bases with when y'all do an interview, or the things that people are wanting to know, like when they're looking at magazines and stuff like that. That's the stuff that they want to see. So y'all are hitting it on head where what y'all need to be doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like, you have no idea. I know Mr. BGM, he has been working extremely hard on the magazine, and just making sure that he does cover much needed content and stuff like that, and trying to support as many people as he possibly can. So
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate your feedback. Before we wrap up this episode, is there anything you want to say to our audience?
Hey, y'all tap in with Boogeyman. He about to go up. We got a couple slots left at the East Coast intro rate, so y'all tap in. New Heights, Frenchies, and Exotic Bulls.
All right, you heard the man. I want to thank again Jordan with New Heights Frenchies and Exotic Bulls for joining me today and sharing his story. As a reminder, check out snubbies.com and use code BG20 for 20% off. And I just want to see everyone again on the next episode of the Bully Girl podcast. Peace.